Yo, what's going on, everybody? You already know what it is. This is Xavier D. Lewis. That's Jason Clark. And this is Y and Z The Divide. Look, it's just two brothers coming together, putting our minds together on some things, clashing on some other things. We just having a conversation, Generation Y, Generation Z. Honestly, just trying to figure out where we can meet at in the middle. Cause it'd be a little bit of a divide in between the two. So make sure you're watching. Make sure you're watching on Spotify. Make sure to share with somebody. Hey, let's see if you have a topic. Make sure to comment down below. Let us know. Hey, I really really liked it. I really really liked it. You didn't really like it. Just let us know. Let us know something in the comments, and let's dive right in. And I'm gonna take the lead on this one, Jason. Take the lead
Okay.
on this.
Okay.
I'm going somewhere with this one, but I want to know your answer to this question. What is your top three movie franchises?
Okay. Okay. That's actually not too bad. That's pretty easy. Number one is Star Trek. Number one is Star Trek. All time number one, Star Trek.
Uh-huh.
Number two, MCU. Give it to the MCU. And then number
Okay,
three.
so no, you can't pick the whole MCU.
Okay,
Pick
so you go on specific character. Okay.
specifics.
So then does my Star Trek pick work then? Because Star Trek is a
That
classic.
works because Star Trek is specific. Like you could have said Star Trek, you could have said Star Wars. That's
Okay.
specific
So
to me.
number one, Star Trek. Number two, I'm leading James Bond just because just that's just a classic all time franchise. Number three, you're gonna make me pin down. And what definition of franchise? More than three, four,
Yeah,
five,
let's just say more than a trilogy. Yeah,
more
more
than
than
a
a trilogy.
trilogy. I mean, I don't want to say go sci-fi again, but you kind of got to go Star Wars. Like,
Okay.
so yeah, Star Trek, James Bond, Star Wars. Bam, there we go.
Okay, my number one, Harry Potter. Oh, it's perfection. It's perfection. You can't tell me J.K. Rowling wasn't on something to think of a whole wizarding world to sit down and write that. You can't tell me that she wasn't on something hard during that time period. Because that's a lot to think of.
Are you a bigger fan of the movie franchise or
Hmm.
the books? Because if I'm looking at that, well, finish your list. What's your top three? Give me your list first.
Okay, I'll say so. Harry Potter number one.
Uh-huh.
Number two, Hunger Games. Love it.
Okay. Number three.
Don't laugh at me.
It's probably coming.
Don't laugh, man. Don't laugh. I have to do this. So, no, we said like a trilogy or more, right? I got to go Dark Knight trilogy.
I
Like
don't know.
the those three movies alone are the three best made Batman movies I've ever. The Batman though that was recent. That was a work of art. I give it all its credit. But until I see something else after that, it has to up its game. But the Dark Knight trilogy is top. Is my number three.
Okay. So my issue with your first two, which is where I was going with the is is they're based on books. So my question, which I was going to ask, was: are you more of a fan of the movie franchise or the book properties? Like,
Mm, I like the movies more, so I'll speak specifically to the movie franchise. That's what I'll
uh-huh.
do.
Okay, because I had to get a definition here, and I'm just looking, and franchises are speaking to movies, but I I kind of feel like, and even to my extent, you could kind of count this with the James Bond one. Those three might be slightly cheating because they have source material. So you have all this
True,
so it's not like Star Wars where
but I
there
mean,
was
I guess
that wasn't based off a book, a not it's an amalgamation of a couple things, but there is no Star Wars book that the movie was then adapted into. So to me that's a little bit of cheek because like I'm not as
well,
impressed because you have all this source material to create from. So most of the time people are going into that. one, you've already bought into the fact that you know it's going to be more than one thing. It's not building. And then two, it really becomes a comparison of how well did you do with the theatrical edition of it versus the actual book source material, which turns some people
Right. But
off.
then can't you say the same thing for comics
That
when it comes
so very much so, and that's
they
because
have plenty of sources. You could pull from five different comics for one movie.
well, see, that's what's interesting is the fact that you generally don't see a one to one recreation, and
Right.
like Harry Potter isn't a one to one recreation, but Harry Potter, that first movie, is based on the
Right.
first book. The second
Right.
movie, based off the second book, so you can clearly see like, okay, cool. I know all that could have been included.
Yeah.
I know all that maybe should have been included. Here's what was left out. Yada yada yada. The difference in the comics is that what you see is kind of like an amalgamation of different things. Is okay,
Yeah.
you're getting like you're getting this version of Iron Man and pieces of this guy's writer of Iron Man and pieces of this guy's writer of Iron Man, and then they're made into the MCU version. So it's
Yeah,
not
I
like
see what you're
directly based
saying.
off a source material. Like I'm not hating on it, but it's just I'm getting in the weeds here. Like I gotta,
Man, the question came up because I recently bought the Hogwarts Legacy game. Ah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
enjoy what you enjoy. I'm not here to hate on it. As you see behind me,
It's
I'm not here to hate on anybody for what you enjoy.
it's amazing, man. Y'all don't have. We've already had this discussion before. You all just do not have good solo games. Not better than not. Okay, you have Halo. Hand clap for Halo.
Zelda, Super Mario, Sonic, Metroid. I mean, all these I know were in the quote unquote, as y'all say it before times, but what you're not gonna get up here and say is like y'all ain't got like Negro, please. Come on. Like, come on,
You don't
dog.
have it in 21st century.
N64 is technically 90s. I'll give you that. I mean, but y'all still playing everything we got. Like, your
It's
Madden, that
true.
was started in the 90s. Your
But
2K started, like
needed
all that stuff is
we needed a base. You guys never let you guys are just something for us to build upon.
I
And we
don't know
just
how
got
much
better.
building y'all are really doing
We
versus
we just got better.
I don't know how much building y'all are really doing versus more so everything else before us sucked. We're the only ones to have ever done this and ever created anything great. And like y'all are so full of it. Like get the hell
Hey
out of here.
man,
And
it's
that's why it's
it's
kind of not
true.
funny that you chose all these new era franchises for the most part. Like every franchise you picked was post 2000. Come on, son.
It's amazing writing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Harry Potter is 10 out of 10. Let's not even talk about that. Hunger Games, I have to go watch the new movie. Because we love when they do a franchise or whatever, and then they come back and add in a pre-movie of what was happening before the franchise started. That's amazing. That's kind of like what Harry Potter did with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them,
But you
because
have
that
problems
was
with that.
before.
There's source material. There's source. It's like I cannot be like I cannot give you credit for doing something that is already out there existing. Like if Hunger Games or even Harry Potter, like if you're doing something, it's like okay, and then you're like okay, yeah, we're gonna go back and do these prequels, but these prequels are even still based off the source material. Like all you're doing is translating something to the screen.
And it works. We already see that that doesn't work for everything though. So, I was gonna give you that, but there are some poorly written movies, and there's a whole great book.
True. Okay, I'll give you that. True. Like, but I think you're at a little bit of an advantage because you're not starting from ground zero. Like you're literally starting from the point is I literally already have this great thing. Now how can I visualize
True.
that?
Yeah, it's a one up.
Versus
It's
I'm
it's a
creating something and then also visualizing it at the same like you're cheating there, sir. Like
it's a one up. I'll give you that. It's a one up.
and I enjoyed the Harry Potter films. I'm not sitting down and choosing to watch them. Like that's just not my cup of tea. We share the same birthday. Shout out to them July 31st babies. But yeah, like that's just there's there's
And
just
name a better trilogy than the Dark Knight trilogy.
trilogy. So three films in
Name
a row. Three films back to back
Name
to
a
back.
better trilogy.
Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4. Bang! That's one of the best three movie sets. And hell, I even get my third choice. Star Wars, uh,
Star Wars and Star
Empire
Trek.
Strikes Back,
No,
Return of the
no,
Jedi. Bam!
no, no. We cannot include them. We already
Why
like
not? Why
Star
not?
Trek and Star Wars. They're
Why
the
not?
grandpappies, bro.
They're what?
They are the grandpappies.
They
They
started it right. They set
right.
the
They're the
vision.
They're the founders, and they'll
Exactly.
never
So
be Trump.
pay credit. Pay credit to the
They'll
people
never
who
be
set the
Trump when it
foundation.
comes to franchises. When it comes to trilogies,
Yeah,
they can't
yeah,
be Trump.
exactly.
They
Point
can't be.
blank period.
I'll give them that.
Point blank period.
The fan
As solid
base,
as the Batman as that Dark Knight trilogy is, although that third one, yeah, they
I
don't
agree.
stick the
The
landing.
Bane was the saving grace for that movie. You know, his monologues were 10 out of 10. But yeah, that second one,
Oh,
and I know we're not even supposed to get into this, but that's my favorite version of the Joker. I'm sorry. That's my favorite version of the Joker.
every Joker. There's a special, and unfortunately, because you weren't around, there is a special place for a lot of us who were back in the day of the animated series. While Heath Ledger's Joker, like it could be 1A and 1B, Mark Hamill's Joker is
Right.
very
Okay.
classic and iconic.
I watched a lot of that. I ain't gonna like when I tell you I love the Joker. So I watched a lot of that, but I think this is almost kind of unfair. It's animated Joker. He has to be great. But as far as live action Jokers go,
I'll give Heath. Yeah, he can have. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on that.
now Joaquin did an amazing job. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the movie. That movie's like it's a 5 out of 10 for
which
me.
one? Which one is it? That's not he. That's
That's the
that
Joker.
Joker, not Suicide Squad. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how he does in the sequel, and what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Heath Ledger Joker. I mean, it's the role he died over. Like,
Yeah, right.
you can't. Like, unfortunately, rest in peace. Like, yeah, that is an iconic portrayal of that
Right,
character.
right.
So since we in this lane, best Batman, and then let me ask the question the right way. Best Batman, best Bruce Wayne. They're not always the same answer.
Right. Okay. Best Batman. I'd have to give it to the most recent one. I um hear me out. Hear me out. He was a horrible Bruce Wayne, but I thoroughly enjoyed him as Batman. Um if I see Bruce Wayne, if I'm looking at like when I think of Bruce, it has to be one of the old school movies because I feel like they got Bruce Wayne better than they ever got Batman. Um
It's always notorious. It's
mm,
always notorious how much actual little screen time Batman gets in Batman.
right. Like I was watching like you'll sit there and watch what was the one Batman Forever? That's the one. That's the one with Mr. Freeze and all of them on there and Two
No, that's
Face.
that's Batman and
Like
Robin. But right? No, yeah, Batman Forever is Two Face and Riddler. Batman and
right,
Robin,
right, 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 right.
Freeze and Poison Ivy.
That's right. That's right. So Batman Forever, you watch that, you're like, okay, where's Batman? Like where? But yeah, I think they got Bruce better. So it'll be one of the older Batmans, I guess, that they got Bruce better than they got Batman.
Okay, okay, not bad.
How about you?
Best best Batman. I think I gotta go Dark Knight trilogy. Like, oh no. Best Batman is Keaton, Michael Keaton. Best Batman, Michael Keaton.
Okay,
Best Batman is Michael Keaton.
not gonna argue on that one.
Best Bruce Wayne, because there's been some different portrayals of him.
Yeah.
I'll probably go Dark Knight trilogy for best Bruce Wayne.
Mm.
I did like what's his name, Bruce Wayne. I did.
And I think that's because like the Bruce Waynes we have been introduced to before him They were just very put together, high class Bruce Wayne. I guess the Dark Knight trilogy version of Bruce Wayne was more realistic, I guess.
Gave you a little more depth to the
Right,
character.
right. You especially with that first movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Batman Begins.
Yeah.
That was a Bruce Wayne movie more than it was a Batman movie.
Okay, not bad, sir.
I agree. You know what? Look at the divide coming together. We found some common
We
ground
can do it. We can do it every now
there.
and
We
then.
found some common ground there.
All right, we'll see where this goes. Because this is, I don't even have a specific question. Like, so I said, so all right, background information for the listeners out there. There's this article, everybody's Spotify rap came out this week. Mine was trash because I hardly use Spotify. And there's this article posted by BBC. And the title was literally Spotify Rap 2023 music genres are now irrelevant to fans. And it was an interesting read. I sent it to you because I couldn't just spring that on you. We don't share everything, but I had to send that to you. And it's a lot in there. And so I really just want to ask, what stood out to you in the article? And in terms of maybe a shocking type of thing. And then also, what was something that jumped out to you was like, yeah, that's some truth. That's the world. I see it now as a semi-young Gen Zer. Want to read the article before hearing more? It's posted in the description. Check it out. And then press play again. It's free, no paywall, nothing. But yeah, so my question to you is what like maybe like shocked you, like, oh wow. And then what did you like really resonate with in the article?
I mean, I guess both are the same because I guess like both answers are the same, for each question because it is shocking, but I still completely agree with it. And I mean, it's just the whole article talking about that genres are kind of dissipating. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, since we've been back and forth talking, throughout the podcast alone, and we've been talking about music, that's all, that's just been a resounding thing. So I guess what kind of shocked me was just seeing what the article had to say on the matter. But it was still like, I still completely agree with it. It's it's a weird world. I mean, people so I'll put it like this. You know what I blame for the current music stage? I blame the NBA. You know why I blame the NBA? Because the NBA stopped focusing on the team and started focusing on the player. The same thing has happened in music. You stopped focusing on the genre and you started focusing on the artist. So like people are no longer fans of just R&B. They're fans of who and this and that, right? You know what I'm saying? So back in
Okay.
the day, you was a fan of R&B. Whoever had an R&B album coming out, you listen to that person's album because it was an R&B album. Nowadays, it ain't about genre, it's just about the person. Because the person is gonna do whatever they can, mixing and matching whatever genres they can to get the most fans for themselves. So I blame the NBA with their super teams.
Better the NBA. That's y'all's fault. Um,
That's not our
no,
fault.
no,
No.
yes. Okay. So number one, music genres of BS anyway, unfortunately. Like it's such a BS concept. It's all marketing. Like it's because it's all about how can I put something like back in the day it was all about
Compartmentalize.
compartmentalized. And back in the day it was these are white people and these are black people. You shouldn't listen
Right.
to this black people music. And then it all became marketing in terms of okay, we got radio stations which focus on this genre to get this audience and yada yada yada. Nowadays, music is so siloed and there's so much of it being put out there that yeah, can't you can't comprehend everything
Nah.
into a definition of what you think it may be built on. And I think and part of that's just naturally progression. Like it's gotten worse as time goes on because as we see things start bleeding into one another. Like, or for example, like unfortunately, part of the problem is genres are such an American specific thing that now where music is more worldly. So
Yeah.
it's like you used to just have Latin music, but there's Latin R&B, there's Latin hip hop, there's
Yeah.
like so some of it's all these crosswinds and interchanging. It's like yeah, this pie is getting so confused, so intertwined that one these things that were poorly defined to begin with
Right.
because I actually went to Webster's and some of these definitions are so like okay Some of these definitions are so basic, it's ridiculous. Country music. Here's a good one. Webster's definition of country music is music derived from or imitating the folk style of the southern U.S. or of the western cowboy. Popular vocal music characterized by simple harmonies accompanied by string instruments such as guitar, fiddle, banjo, repeated choruses, and often narrative lyrics. That's a good one.
Good definition.
That's okay. I kind of know what the sonics I'm going to hear. I know what the people are doing. That works. I go to rock and roll. Popular music, usually played on electronically amplified instruments and characterized by a persistent, heavily accented beat, repetition of simple phrases, and often full of country, folk, and blues elements. Yeah,
that ending is a little
pretty bland.
Misleading.
R&B. Popular music typically including elements of blues and African American folk music and marked by a strong beat and simple chord structure. What? That's a song with black people singing. Terrible definition.
That's all.
Jazz. American music developed especially from ragtime and blues and characterized by propulsive, syncopated rhythms, polyphonic ensemble playing, varying degrees of improvisation, and often deliberate distortions of pitch and timbre. Excellent definition. And arguably, probably jazz and country are probably two of the strongest genres in holding their integrity because they're so well defined. You know what jazz is when you hear it. You know what country is when you hear it. You even know the variations because, like, there are subgenres. You even know the variations and how they all intermix because they're strongly defined.
Right.
You get into some of this other stuff and it's just like,
I don't know what
50, 11 things, and that's kind of what the article is talking about. And a lot of that, once again, like I said, as I originally said, it's y'all's fault because music has become such an individualized experience that you and I could both hear the same song. You could characterize it as one thing, and I could characterize it as another. Back in the day, we had to come to some kind of consensus about what that song was and how it worked in the mainstream. Nowadays, it don't matter what consensus because it's all about your experience. It's all about my experience. Like, digital music sucks ass, and it's literally killing the industry because nobody can come to consensus on anything. Like,
it's like, but then, my generation might say, well, the industry needed to be dealt with anyway.
Don't disagree necessarily. I don't disagree.
Like, so I think we've created a monster in the mindset of, well, we just need to do away with the industry, not thinking about the fallout that's gonna happen from like the industry or whatever. I'm just saying the industry, talking in general. But of course it had its gatekeepers. Of course, if you were up and coming, you probably weren't going to get all the chances or whatever. But then they saw that if they did it by themselves, you'll get a lot more chances if you did it by yourself, if you were good at that.
Bring back gatekeepers. Bring back gatekeepers.
Right. They had their place for a reason. So it's kind of like they were saying that boo gatekeepers, but they have their place. They need to be there for a certain. If it's abused, then of course it's going to be horrible. But done correctly, gatekeeping works.
Well, I mean, music is communal. Like music, and that's the primary battle here. Is the communal versus singular experience. Music is best when it's communal. Like that's simply what it is. Nobody's in a party listening to their own thing at a separate time. That's one of the reasons why that all y'all play at y'all parties is throwback stuff, because nobody can agree what is actually good currently. Because, we can all agree this stuff back in the day when it was a communal experience is solid. But even like earlier you stated, if you were an R&B listener back in the day and an R&B release happened, you listened to it. Well, that's because you weren't getting hit over the head with R&B releases every
single week.
Like, it's literally impossible to keep up with how much stuff it is out there. So, like, back in the day, Mary J. Blige dropped. That was the artist to drop. Even her first album was like, okay, yep, we all went and listened to that because it was like
together, right.
It was her and a handful at that week or that time at that month. Nowadays, you getting 100,000 songs uploaded every damn day. Now all those
I,
are
I
R&B,
completely
but
agree.
let's just say a fifth of that every day is R&B. That's 20,000 R&B songs a day. Who all is agreeing one has the time to listen to all them and they can then agree whether something is good or not. And music takes time. Very
Right,
rarely does a song come out and yeah, that's a hit. No, it takes some time. But the
right,
problem is nobody want to give it time anymore because there's too much stuff to listen to. And so we could
right. It
be like,
is.
yeah, we're
It is
R&B fans, but you've only listened to records 1 through 10,000. I've only listened to records 10,000 through 20,000. We can't agree on nothing because we ain't both heard the same stuff.
right. I mean, and it's so easy. Like it's just so easy to break off because, like you said, it's very individualistic, right? And social media plays a part in that too.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you could have a song, you don't even have to release the song fully on Apple Music or anything like that. You could get a TikToker to make a dance off your song.
No, that's what they aim to
Not
do.
even the whole song.
That is what they shoot to do now. As somebody who has
15 a
music experience,
15 to 30
yeah,
second time frame of your song is now stuck in people's head for 2 days.
that's why you got these concerts with some of y'all favorite artists nowadays, and the audience don't know nothing outside that 15 seconds, and it's supposedly a hit song.
Right. Like what happens to like okay, I will say, and this, I mean, no, I don't think Luther isn't your generation or whatever. Um,
I mean, yeah,
but
he belongs to Gen X, but yeah, we got Luther, not mine. Yes, sir.
but like you went a Luther when it's a Luther classic, everybody know it word for word.
Because we spent time with it.
A
Like,
chair is still a chair. Yeah, everybody know the words of that song. You put it on. If Luther was alive right now, he would still be selling out stadiums.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
can't say the same for my generation's artist in 20 years.
they
No.
lucky, they lucky if they make it 10. And that was a stretch. Like, and that's part of the problem. Like y'all not like they're not being built on the like I said, it's not. It's part of the biggest problem is the way the industry is set up right now. Mainstream is going away like all hell. Like mainstream low key doesn't. I just had a conversation the other day with some R&B folks. Shout out to I Got Soul. Was talking with them. They asked me, yeah, what's your favorite R&B record of the year? And I'm like, what's really
But it's
going?
considered R&B now.
Well, not even that. It's just what song has stuck around long enough and to actually go for the title. Like I suggested on My Mama from Victoria, but who really still talking about the music anymore? People outside of Grammy,
Right.
people are talking about Victoria, but people ain't talking about the music like they're talking about it anymore. It ain't even a trending sound on TikTok or IG Reels
Right.
anymore. Like, and that just dropped this summer. It's on not even. It was a couple months ago. Like this stuff isn't lasting to really gain that attachment to it, you know. But back to the and that's like what the article talked about, the whole, becoming fans of
Yeah.
individuals. And that's part of the problem is with all this social stuff, you're becoming a fan of these individuals. It don't matter what they put out. Like,
Right.
like it's like so many of these artists are having careers and stuff just based off influencing on social media, influencing on that. And it's just like back in the day, you used to have to go away and come up with something to write about. Like your music is what made you. Nowadays, the music is the last thing. It's your image. It's what you look like.
Right. Right.
It's what you're endorsing, your lifestyle. And it's like all that stuff shouldn't matter when it comes to the music. Now, in terms of the genres, I agree with like I said, it's garbage. I understand having to compartmentalize things to put things together to market and to categorize. But I do understand the part that, the big part that, some of these artists feel like they're being put in a box. And that's always been something. And
Right.
me, like, as much as I say I'm an R&B fan, like, I love all music. Like, you
Yeah.
listen to my iPod in the car. Yes, I still use the iPod because it's not that digital crap. Like, and my wife will tell you, it'll go from rap to R&B to gospel to rock to jazz to some pop to it's
Yeah.
going through all this stuff because there's no one box and I'm like, yep, I fit in this one box as a music fan. No, I love music in a variety of forms and expressions, and I'm here for some of my faves when they're able to. It's like, for example, take Andre, perfect example, rap hip hop artist for the last almost 30 years. That's what we
Right.
know him as. This man just dropped an album full of flute music, an instrumental album. And it's actually low key pretty fire.
Yeah.
It ain't a rap, and it's and part of the problem is I forget who it was, Pitchfork or somebody, they still classified it as a rap album. And I'm like, what are y'all doing in this review calling it a rap album? That man don't say not one word on. And I enjoy an artist like Andre being like, as much as I would like to hear him rap and do all that, he dropped this project. It was thoughtful, it was intentional,
Yeah.
and it was like, and it's an excellent project. Am I listening to it all the time? No, because the songs are long as a mug. But the quality of what he's delivered is better than a lot of the stuff
that's going out every single day.
Yeah.
Like you said, he put thought into it. He did these things, and that's what we're missing. And a lot of what we're missing with our songs are, am I able to replay this and enjoy it 50 times over?
I want to ask you, because I feel sorry for you guys. I can go back to my day, be like, yep, these are artists who I'm going to listen. There's a couple who've dropped off this list just because of life. But, for the most part, the music that dropped during my day, and let's say my day being middle school through college, because that's when your teenage years.
Yeah.
That's your real, formulate. That stuff going to hit back then, hit now, going to hit in the future. What from your period,
man,
is going to hit then, or hit if you listen to it next year, or even in 15 years when you're a little great? Like, is there anything that you're like, I'm gonna still be listening to this?
I mean, the people that I find that I like that, it'll be like Samo. Samo is very, very good. I love Samo, and Samo has a great voice, writes great music. I like Money Long a lot. If people would just go listen to more of her music besides Hours and Hours, they'll see. She's been in the game.
She's almost there. The potential is there. She's almost there. Her music.
She's been in the game a long time, though. Have you looked her up? She's been in this thing for a long time.
I know, and I can use her song as the perfect example of what's wrong, and it's once again, it's a reflection of the industry
right.
Put out. It is missing the bridge and the amplification of something that'll take me there. It's
right. It's just the repetition of the same thing.
And that's what you need sometimes. It's like you got your artists who are like, yep, verse, chorus, I'm out. What the hell? No. Give me that verse. Give me that chorus. Okay. Give me that verse. Give me that chorus. Give me that chorus again. Give me the bridge.
Right.
Give me the chorus again. Give me some ad libs within another like you can't get into it. You can't fall in love with it because it's just like it's here and gone before you know it. Like that song structure used to be like you would fall in love with the chorus because you heard it about 5 times. And surprisingly, all 5 times were slightly different.
Exactly.
Some modulations. So you got some people who's like, yeah, that 3rd time they did that chorus, that's my fave. No, give me that 5th time. Cause and so I like Money. Money got the potential and the talent. It's there. But like I said, the song, I'm like you're there. You're right there.
Right.
And another chorus and some passion on that. That could be timeless. But the problem is it ain't being structured the same way. And so it can't,
because let's be real, it's not what people want.
That's y'all's fault.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that. We don't want, I don't want it. I mean, I want it, but they don't want the chorus, the bridge, the verse 2,
15-second,
the verse 3, the ad libs. I want some changing of the harmonies in the back. That's what I want. They don't want that. And for some odd reason, I don't understand that.
That's your generation. Help me. You're supposed to help me explain that. I understand. I need you to know it.
I'm at a standstill as to why they don't want that, because it's just like I said, we're very, very alike in that manner. We enjoy just music. It doesn't have to be a certain genre. It doesn't have to be, a specific person. I enjoy music. And so hearing the versatility of music itself is, I don't know, it has to be their attention span. It has to be the attention span or something like that, or not being able to.
Say our. Include yourself in that. It's your generation. Say our.
No, it's they. It's they. Oh, because I can sit here and listen to an album straight. Because I have the patience. I have the time whatever like that. They up and on the go. It's the Vine mentality.
You know what y'all missing out on? I got you. What's it? This this antique is what
Is
y'all
that
missing out on. What'd you say?
is that a CD album?
Yeah, yes. Y'all too used to this being able to be like, next song.
Boy,
Next song.
you know I know about that.
Nah, this right here, it's been a while since I even opened it. This right here, back when you had to
Sort your CDs out.
pick a project, sit with it. You know, like this used to be the floor, the passenger seat, the floor, the passenger side of my car.
That's
Back
right.
in the day, it was, yep, okay, I got to fumble and know where it's at without keeping my eye on the road, be able to pop in. You wasn't changing CDs every 20 seconds. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nah, you would put in a project and sit with it and let it ride out greater than 15 seconds. So yeah, I feel sorry for this digital age of music because it truly has ruined the game. Like I said, the whole genre side of things, like I understand that, break free, do whatever you want. Like it's a marketing concept. But in terms of the quality and what y'all actually have at your availability, the fact like people be saying, oh, if you want good music, just go find it. Hell, who got time to search through all this crap out there to find the one diamond in the rough? Please. Ain't nobody got time for all that.
And let's not even talk about how the individuality of the music is like leaving the industry. Everybody almost sounds the exact same.
We're gonna have this discussion another day, but that's one of the reasons why previous eras, like there's no way in hell anybody ever gonna be able to tell me 2010s, 2020s is a great era of music as a whole. Maybe for you individually because you found some great stuff.
Yeah.
But as a whole, like you look at what we had in the 70s, like I wasn't alive, neither were you back then, but the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, part of it is just it was the communal thing. We all agree, like we were all able to come to consensus, like, yes, we may not agree on everything, but you can say, like, yeah, these are the timeless hits.
Yeah.
These are great. And in the genres, on the popular side of things, you had so much width and different sonics and sounds. Everybody didn't sound the same.
Right.
Like you could pick a year in the 90s, look at R&B. Like I love when they do them top 10s, like some of these music pages on Instagram. I'm like a top 10 is it, and it's just like you just look at the variety of stuff, and that's just in the top 10.
Right.
Versus nowadays, you would swipe and it's like, okay, yep, that song sounds like that. That song sounds like that. That song, like they all like 8 out of the 10 are all sounding the same.
Using the same samples. I don't know. Just no. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
See, I feel sorry. It's just the world y'all got to live in. It's a shame, but yeah, we'll see as we get a little gray, or you get gray, and I get some more. What you got to put me on this week, though, youngin?
Hey, man, we're coming up to the Christmas holidays, and I have to put you on what I find to be a top tier Christmas snack.
Ooh, okay. Speak to me. Speak to me. He's got it right there.
You know, when we have, I have to make an entrance. There is truly just one chick for me, and her name is Little Debbie.
Oh, okay.
These Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes, bruh. I'm trying my best not to take out the box tonight. Man, it's top tier. It's top tier.
Are you finishing the box tonight? Are you finishing the box? Because there's only 10 in there. You know, I know me in the right situation. Half that box could easily be going in the city.
And I plan on putting myself in one of those situations.
What is it about the Little Debbie though? What's you know?
Man, I gotta put you on to those tree cakes, man. I don't know if you ever tried them or maybe you grew up with them or something like that. But I just had to make sure that you knew about those Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes, man. I just had to make sure you knew about that. Good question, and I know this is just me putting you on something. Little Debbie or Hostess?
Oh, see, here's the problem. I think this might speak to where you're from, because even here, I'm sitting here like little. I'm trying to think, was Little Debbie a part of my childhood? Hostess was a part of my childhood, but again, I'm from Jersey, East Coast, Philadelphia, PA, right? Like Hostess was the thing. Like
really,
as a grown person now, I don't eat that stuff like that anyway. But in my mind, oh, like just because I share more of a connection with Hostess, and not to say that Little Debbie wasn't around. I think
Right,
especially
right.
based when we'll get to that subject another day about how regionality was really
Yeah.
a thing back in the day prior to the internet. Um, yeah, little like Hostess was the thing. So yeah, I'd have to go.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was kind of the opposite for me. Like we had, don't get me wrong, I think we even had like in my city, we had like a Hostess bakery
Mm-hmm.
back in the Gap. So Hostess was a big thing here, but specifically in my childhood, my mom was a big Little Debbie eater when she was younger. So it was just naturally she just gave us Little Debbie snacks. So it was a big Little Debbie was my main chick.
I also well part of it also is I think also brand like so definitely if you were to ask me about the type of snack so like Little Debbie you got the nutter butters,
Yeah.
oatmeal cakes, cosmic brownies, those types of things. Like in my mind, like Hostess was mostly for donuts. Like if you
Right.
talk about those specific snacks, yeah, I'm leaning Little Debbie, but they weren't necessarily always Little Debbie brand, if you know what I'm saying. So brand name for sure, I probably
Played a
had more
part in that.
Hostess, but if I was to actually able to go back and look back, okay, how many oatmeal cream pies did I eat versus some
That makes sense.
6 packs of chocolate donuts? I probably you might find it's probably a 50-50 split, maybe a little more, who knows? But
And let's be real. Hostess is one of the grandpappies
yeah,
because they
yeah,
made
yeah.
the Twinkie, the
That's
indestructible snack.
yeah, that's what they did. Okay, good taste. Funny. My recommendation is slightly food based as well. Um, just funny how we hear sometimes, but a little different, but slightly food based. Have you Netflix show High on the Hog just dropped their second season? Have you heard of High on the Hog?
Never. And I love
Oh,
watching
okay.
Netflix cooking shows or
Okay. No,
whatever.
no, this isn't a cooking show. This is a show all about because it's being told in two different ways. On the basis, it's a show about food and African Americans. So it's really telling the history of some
I'm
popular
writing it
food
down.
items and how it's connected to African American history and all that kind of stuff. So like like I said, the second season just dropped. It's two 4-part seasons. That first part goes through, slaves and what they used to, what African tribes eat now in
Right.
Africa and some of their traditional foods and how that correlates to soul food and what we may know and how those traditions came across during the slave trade and grew and into things like we invented mac and cheese with Thomas Jefferson. Like it's
Right.
like
Right.
it's a great series. What really makes me want to recommend it now, though, is like I said, they just dropped the second part. The second part is interesting because it's really the story of African American history being told through food. So, like the first part only goes up to about colonial times esque. The
Ah,
first 4 episodes only go up to about colonial times esque. This second set of four starts like pre-Civil War era esque in New Orleans,
oh, that's gonna be really good.
and then follows the Great Migration to Chicago, and then you get the Harlem Renaissance. And I'm on the third episode, which is talking about the civil rights movement. There's a moment, start from the beginning, but when you get to the second season, second episode, the Great Migration. The host of the show, he's on this train talking with these two black men, one who used to be a train porter, because they're talking about the Great Migration. So
Yeah.
he's, and the meals they used to serve on the train and how they would eat and one of the gentlemen breaks it down as to what the train meant to him because he wasn't a porter, his father was. And so
Yeah.
he was like, my father's job exposed us to the world. We saw, because we would ride with him sometimes during his shift or just go with him to the city. And so we would see these men in these suits. We would see these men, eating these things or having this style. And so it introduced us into these things that were outside of our purview. So he's like, that train opened up the world for me. Mind blowing statement. Like,
Wow.
but then the second gentleman, he tells a story because he was the porter. He tells a story of a racial incident that he had on the train. It's not just like, oh my God, of course he had another racial incident. It's not. What really hits you is in the matter that he tells the story, and you're literally seeing him re-experiencing it every day. Like you're seeing what this did to him back in the day, and he literally says, "It's like I still replay it every day now." And it's just like it's not no grand story or no like it's really
Yeah.
a regular everyday incident of racism that you would run into back then, and it's just like, oh my, it was just like, oh my god, it was like so. One is a foodie, one is a black man, and two,
Yeah.
and two, just like it's an interesting telling of the history of African American history in this country, which we all have a general idea, but through the food. Because at one point during the Harlem Renaissance episode, he's talking like, yeah, we talk about the writers, we talk about the poets, we talk about the musicians,
Chefs.
but nobody's talking about the cooks. Because he's like, because best believe after that show or that performance or that gathering, they were eating at the gathering. They were dining on something. Like, so he's like, the food was
Yeah.
just as much a part of this because you had these chefs taking these old these recipes that they learned from their mamas and their grandmamas back in them cotton fields in the South, and they brought them here and brought a little flair to them or stepped them up a little bit. And it's just an amazing. It's adding.
Don't say anything else. I'm watching it
Yeah,
tonight. Don't say anything else.
check. It
I'm
is a
watching it
solid series.
tonight.
High on the hog. I'm surprised you hadn't. So yeah, recommendation. High on the hog. It's just whew. And it'll
Yeah.
hit you sometimes. It'll hit you. Like
I'm watching that tonight. It's a done deal.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, look, with that being our recommendations, this has been a great episode. I've enjoyed it. It's been good. We've had great dialogue. We met in the middle, blamed my generation for some stuff. You know, I ain't gonna hold it against you.
Mhm.
But y'all let us know what's your point of views on our topics tonight. Make sure to check that article out, hit that pause button, read the article, come back, look at it again. Make sure this Christmas season to go grab you some Christmas tree cakes with my best main chick, Lil Debbie. So, y'all have a great day. Have a great evening. Hey, we'll hit y'all up later on.
Peace.